Okay, this is Chris Clark here, and I've been in the Facebook groups and I've been trying to educate folks on how this 2 by 3 matrix actually works. And so I know there's people out there that are very excited. There's a lot of momentum, and that's all very, very exciting. And so my purpose of this is just to educate, just to make sure that you know how it actually works so you can see the numbers. This is a numbers game, and you have to understand the numbers. And I come from an experience where I've dug into these numbers and exposed the numbers and figured the numbers out. And so I don't want you just to get caught up in come on board for nothing and do nothing and you're going to cycle over and over again. And it's just amazing. Excuse me. And so the law of life just doesn't work like that. And I just don't want people to give a false sense of reality. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've been on all sides of this. I've been on the sides of the new person that gets excited. I've been on the leader side. I've been on the admin side. I've been on the development side. I've been on the side where I'm working with payment processors and processing money. And we put about $5 million of revenue and commissions in about 6 to 8 weeks when we did this before. And so it works. 2 by 3s work, and they're beautiful if you know what you're doing. And the way that this is being promoted of coming on board and doing nothing and bringing in nobody, you're going to make 10 G's or $9,300 over and over again. That's just not possible. That may possibly happen with a couple of people if they land in the right spot, but typically that's not what's going to happen. And so let me walk you through these numbers. I apologize already. I'm holding this camera with my hand and I'm trying to write here. And so, but I'm going to try to do my best here. Okay. And so the first thing is, what really is this 2 by 3? And you see this big pyramid here that looks a little bit bigger than a 2 by 3. And so really what a 2 by 3 is it's not really a 2 by 3. It's a 2 by infinity. And let me explain that to you. You only see this in your back office, your 2 by 3 here. And there's 14 people in that. And this is you at the top of your 2 by 3. So in order for you to move over to board number 2 or your reentry or board number 3, so in order for this person to cycle, what needs to happen is your row of 8 needs to be filled. And so you can't look at it as, oh, I just need 14 people to come in and then I cycle and then 14 more and then I cycle again. That's not how it happens. You have to look at it as the person at the top of the 2 by 3 moves when the row of 8 is filled. And let me explain that to you. If you can see here, this is you, your row of 2, your row of 4, and your row of 8. Okay, when the row of 8 is full, this person now moves to board number 2 or board number 3 or re-entry or whatever, and we'll talk about that shortly. Okay, so now what happens is this person is the top and this person is the top of their own 2 by 3, which is what you can see right here. Right here, that's a 2 by 3, that's a 2 by 3. So is that making sense now? So this person's row of 2 now is at the top of their own 2 by 3. Okay, but the original has just opened up another level. And so you can see how this is a bottom feeder. It's a 2 by infinity. Okay, so in order for this person to move and follow this person, their row of 8 needs to be full. Same thing here. In order to follow, because this is a follow me, their row of 8 needs to be full, which in actuality is the company's row of 16, and so on and so forth. Because now in order for this person to follow this person and this person to follow this person, their own 2 by 3, and this, I apologize for my art, but this now has to open up another row of 8. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. And so now that's the company's row of 32 and 64 and 128. And so all you see is you at the top of your own 2 by 3. But from a logistical standpoint, it comes from the top of the company. So now you can really see into the numbers. So now let's dig more into the numbers. How many does it take for you actually to cycle off on board number 2? Okay, so let's think about that. In order for this person to move, the bottom row of 8 needs to be full. Okay, so 14 people move, and that puts that person over to board number 2. Now, in order for this person to move, an additional 8 needs to come on board. And in order for this person to move, an additional 8 needs to come on board. So you have your original 14, you need to add 16 more just for these 2 to move. Then for these 4 to move, the next row, an additional 32 need to come on board. Now, in order for these to move, an additional 64 need to come on board. So basically, the easiest way to think about this is in order to recreate the original 2x3, which is here, in order to recreate the original 2x3 on board number 2, it takes 126 people in order to move this person on board number 2. If you needed another in-depth explanation about that, just read back through or rewind this video and watch it again. Okay? So now, if it takes 126 people for this person to cycle on board number 2, which is the company, that's the very first position in the company, then in order to recreate this on board number 3, 126 people times 14, because that's 14 people that need to recreate this board. In order for that person to cycle on board number 3, 1,764 people need to come in for the first person to cycle off on board number 3. That's the reality of those numbers. Now, will that happen? Absolutely. There's thousands of people in this thing. But if there's 10,000 people, just think about this. What row of the company is that? Is it row 25 where there's 25,000 people there? Is it row number 60 of the company where there's 100,000 people there? And where do you fall on that? Because no matter where you fall, 128 people, 126 people need to come in order for you to cycle. And so on board number 2. And so it's important to understand that. Okay. And so how this really needs to be promoted is get your 2. Because if everybody gets their 2, it works beautiful. Beautiful follow me. You follow them to the next board and it works wonderful. But that's not how it's being promoted. It's being promoted, come on board for free, do nothing, and then you're going to cycle over and over again. And so I know you can't say free. I know you can't say free, and I apologize for saying free, but no cost to you. Okay? And so it's important that you understand this. Now let's talk about the re-entry. That's very important. All right? And so everybody's believing that, oh, okay, no cost to me to come on board, and then the board's going to find me and cycle my board, and then that can't happen for everybody, because let's look at something. When this person cycles, their row of 8 comes in, they go to board number 2, but then they also have a re-entry. Now, here's where some more confusion is. People think that goes and recreates another board. Well, that's not very smart, because then if that's the case, it would not feed back in and add to the momentum. It would just be recreating a board over here, which would be the same scenario as over here. And so it would be these numbers to just even cycle again on your reentry. So that's not what's happening. It's not a new board. It's coming back into the existing board. So the top position, believe that's a company or ghost position or wild card or whatever, believe the company has that, and believe they have a few more of these as well, because they want to take advantage of the momentum, which I'm not mad at. You know, if you develop the company and you create the boards and you're providing the service, you do need to take the first several positions so that when this thing does cycle off, you are benefiting. And so That's what's happening there. It just depends on how many and what's going on up there. So believe most people are down here somewhere. And so what's really happening here is this position is now going to find the next available position. And let's say this cycle happens and it ends up plugging you, it re-enters here. All right. So it cycles. Oh, let me find the next available position. Oh, it's going to be right there. Okay. Now, this is a true follow me, correct? So that means that everybody else is following. Everybody else is following. And where are they following? They're following right here. Okay. What about if you're over here? 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 This doesn't touch you at all. And so this cycles again. Oh yeah, it's going to find the next one on the reentry. What if it lands there? Then everything follows here. And guess what? What if you're over here? You miss out. And so that's the reality of this thing. And so yes, this is beautiful. If you're right here, guess what? You're in the forums talking about, oh man, I got all this spillover and the company's great and this is wonderful and it's following me and I'm boom. But what about if you're here? What about if you're here? Think about it. Really think about it. That's what the true reentry means. And so the true way to build this is it needs to be a team build. And it needs to be people that are not selfish and they take their two and they give the rest away. And they use the marketing, they use other people's links and push it. And the teams that can be consistent with that the most are going to be the teams that are crushing this thing, that making the money. So hopefully, as you watch this video, the payment processors are up, they are working, because that's a major hurdle. And if they can get that taken care of and, get people paid, this thing is going to explode. Now, another thing they need to take care of is the legal aspect of things, because, having a product that's not available worldwide, but you're charging $120, there are some legalities there, and they need to tighten that up. But I'm sure that will happen. And so don't just get caught up in the hype. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. And I'll touch base on the wild card thing one more time. Is that the people that on the calls they're saying that these wild cards are people that are coming in organically, basically from advertising from the company. There is no sponsor. Their sponsor is the company. And so think about how you came into this thing. Okay. Somebody sent you a link. You weren't just browsing on the internet and you saw, oh, this is great. Let me look at this. Oh, wow, this sounds wonderful. I'll go ahead and jump on it. You came on board because somebody said, you have to do this. Look, come on board. You don't have to pay anything. They're going to pay your way in and you're going to cycle. Come on board. And it's somebody that you know and trust. And so you use their link. And so really the number of organic signups is not that much. They say that, oh, this is great. We've got the company advertisement, but most people don't come in off of the company advertisement. And actually, there shouldn't be a company advertisement, because if I promote my link and somebody just clicks on Phoenix Power Rising and signs up with the company, I'm going to be irritated. And so that there shouldn't be an avenue for people to sign up through the company. It should come in through somebody's admin link on the first board. So I don't really like that aspect of things, but if that's how things are going, you have organic people that come in that are wild cards. They're not attached to anybody. And how many is that? 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, 500. Okay. So those wild cards, they come on board. Are they big time leaders? No, wild cards aren't coming in. Like huge networkers and big leaders are not coming in on wild cards. They're connected to somebody. So that means they're going to be part of their own follow me, which is going to be bouncing here and bouncing there and missing people all over the place. And so that don't get excited about that, because the numbers are not going to come from that. The numbers are going to come from the leaders that are bringing in a lot of people. And so understand the numbers, understand how these things work. Definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll write my number here. 7013. Call me. Yes, I have a position in here, but I'm really not promoting this because I don't like how it's promoted, and the payment processors have to be up first. And so, but I do have a spot. And the story with mine is I got on pretty early. I didn't do anything because that's what the company said. Don't do anything and we'll pay your way in, and you'll cycle over and over again. And in my back office, my front line was spilled to me, and that's it. And I don't have anybody on my row of 4, and I have nobody on my row of 8. And it's not going to grow unless I push it. And of course, I could blow it up and explode it if I wanted to, but it's not ready for that yet. And right now, everybody's getting excited about the hype, about things that's not real. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing that there's momentum. But I just want everybody to understand what's really going on. Don't get excited about the numbers in your back office until you can actually touch the cash and put it into your bank account. Also, don't get excited about cycling over and over again if you are not pushing it. You have to work this. You have to work it, and you have to work it hard, and you have to have a team build, and you have to make it work. And the reality of this is, if the leaders of this really want to get paid, you need to lobby together and say we need a matching bonus, because then that will promote recruiting, that will promote people to get off their butt and make something happen. Bring in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 people. My suggestion to this is, my instructions, if you were on my team and we were building this thing, it would be, you have to bring 20 in. Everybody brings 20 in. And when those 20 come in, you only take 2, you give the rest away. And we're not just randomly doing it. We're all sitting together, we're all mapping it out, and we're making sure that everybody's making money. And believe it, there's people that are plotting that right now that are about to explode this thing. So get on one of those teams. Don't be the guy that sits here and says, oh, I'm going to put my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister in, and they're going to make a bunch of money. No, that's not how it's going to happen. Understand. If you have any questions, call me, Chris Clark. Hopefully this clears things up for you.